we want to have all the pertinent information about the shot, the distance, and we also want whether we estimated the distance or whether we lasered it. You know, if we guessed at the distance, you know, then our dope may be off because we weren't correct in the distance exactly. You know, we want distance, uphill, downhill, and what target we were shooting at. Don't kid yourself into thinking you're doing a really great job if you're shooting a 3-foot disc at 400 yards like they have hung up here. Gosh, my kids could hit that. You know? I'm not trying to humiliate people, it's just not as difficult as a lot of people would have you believe. You know, if you know how to snap a trigger and you have decent shooting form and can shoot a group, I can teach you everything you need to know about long range shooting in a day. You know, like I said, at the end of the day, shooting 600 yards probably won't be a really big deal to you. Now, the other thing you'll find out is that there are good shooting days and bad shooting days as far as conditions go. If the wind picked up to and was varying from 3 to 12 miles an hour blowing up this canyon, boy, shooting 600 yards will start getting to be a little tough. Hit a little left, a little right, a little high, a little low. And that is the big thing I want everybody to learn is, hey, in this kind of conditions, this morning here where it's dead calm and the fog is just starting to lift, it's not really going anywhere, the little patches you get in the morning, oh, I can shoot a long ways right now. Here in another couple hours as the air starts to warm up and the wind starts to blow a little and we're getting those light gusts and stuff, I can't shoot as far. Because to the uneducated, the guys that look at your equipment go, Jesus, you ought to be able to shoot an elk 1,000 yards with that. Well, first of all, it's a 260. I don't think so. You know. And the other thing is there's 1,000-yard conditions and there's not. So it's all relative to how good of conditions you have to shoot in and have I shot in these conditions before. You might get really good at doping conditions. And you might find out that with the wind blowing like that, I'm good enough that I can dope the conditions further than my hunting partner. I can take this shot and feel comfortable about it. In the end, when I'm laying behind the gun getting ready to take the shot, my big criteria is, am I going to be astonished that I miss? If I were to miss, will it be a jaw-dropping experience? Jesus, I had it dialed in. I was on it. If I feel like that it's a high percentage shot when I'm getting ready to pull the trigger, I'm good with that. You know? Bad hits and misses are going to happen on occasion. If they're happening a lot, start looking at how far you're shooting in the conditions you're shooting in, because you're stretching beyond your abilities at that point if it becomes a regular thing. So, I love a little bit of rain or drizzle.
What does that have? Does that have any effect on the bullet?
The only thing it has effect on is a little tiny bit of humidity and the pressures that are associated with rainstorms.
But the bullet going through the rain
means virtually nothing.
Other than the vapor trail that the bullet leaves.
Yes, and you can see it bigger than a slight drizzle. And the first class I taught this year, the conditions were not a lot of fun. But it was a really great learning experience for everybody. And out in the National Forest on the second day, slight drizzle all day long. You could still see 1,200, 1,500 yards, but there's just that slight drizzle coming down, little patches of fog here. Once I pointed out to everybody what they're looking at, how to look at it, and what it meant, boy, they got really good at doping the wind. Hey, you know, the fog's blowing up over here, and then it drops down in the canyon. Despite what the bushes are doing here, we know the air is moving down the canyon this way. You can see the rain leaning off to the left. Hey, I'm good. I can judge speed now. Because a lot of things you'll see is you'll see things that indicate speed, leaves moving like this, but they agitate. A lot of times they don't give you good direction. You can read the speed, well, hey, that wind looks like it's blowing 3-4 miles an hour, but what direction's it going? You know, there's different things you have to look for to get a good direction on indication, and a slight drizzle will give you a really great direction. So, as well as the fog. You know, little patches of fog, a lot of guys, oh man, it's all fogged in. Well, if it's socked in, it's socked in. That sucks for everybody. But if you get the little patches here and there, or real low or real high above where you're hunting, that's not always a bad thing.